I set out along a long line to make a series of paintings, but I returned with not only 50 oil paintings on aluminum panels, but also a collection of stories and an iPhoto library of 3,000 images. I don't think of painting just as a system of representation. I think of it also as a way of being, an ethos, if you will. And the ethos is to be alive to what is around you. Painting, particularly painting from life, requires one to observe closely and trade a little self-consciousness for more awareness of your surroundings. It's delightful to fill yourself up with the sensual world, and I think there is a political component to advocating for an ethos of being in the moment. I can't help but believe that humans who train themselves to connect with what is outside them are more careful not to damage the world around them. For me, this project is about living out the idea of be here now. The canopy. I took a lot of pictures of the canopy because the greenery is so dense it could induce a panic attack. But the light that bounced, this is one of the paintings, the light that bounced the canopy of leaves offered some relief. And this is one that I wrote in the blog. Like Matisse with a pair of scissors, the sun cut sharply through the canopy, creating melon slices and asterisks of light, which spread across the sky in a jumpy rhythm. Indeed, the sky and the leaves looking through was extraordinary. When I begin a painting, I try not to have any idea of what it should eventually look like. I'm starting without any preconceived notions and just kind of letting it happen. I'm trying to be improvisational and respond freshly to each mark, each color, each stroke, one after the other. To create a little continuity in this process, however, I standardize a few of the variables, like the size and the materials. All the pictures, for example, are in a horizontal format and painted in oil on aluminum panels that are 24 by 30 inches. And all the things you've been seeing are 24 by 30, fairly modest size. But since the concepts of diversity and complexity are at the core of this project, I try to be very free with all the other variables like brushstroke, color, scale, and time. My goal is to create a heterogeneous group of objects that flaunt their uniqueness while maintaining just enough similarities to cooperate as a whole. The experience of seeing is not an absolute. You and I do not see the same. Every time we're looking at something, we're seeing it differently because the visual stimulus is coming in through our brains is passed through our own unique filters. These paintings, one of the reasons I sort of let loose with the abstraction and the interpretation of the landscape is to celebrate this act of human perception and to sort of really engage my own filter. Not because my filter is so interesting, but just to suggest to everybody else that all of our filters are kind of interesting and how we interpret visual data and how we put it back out in the world. I realized then that I had made two artworks, an exhibition of paintings and a book. I hope the paintings are just plain old good paintings, and I hope the book holds the concept of the trip and the stories that came from it. Perhaps these two projects will create more compassion for the living world, and that this sensitivity will translate into improved environmental policy. But as vehicles for social change, plein air paintings and artist books are absurdly mismatched to the task of consciousness raising in a digitized global environment.